This episode of The Young Turks brought to you by Jack Threads for the win.
So a jury in Oklahoma City just charged a man by the name of Jerome Ursland with murder, and they are suggesting that he gets sentenced to a life sentence in prison because of the fact that he shot and killed a 16-year-old robber. Okay, so
when I first start reading the story, a guy comes into the store, gets shot, right? I think, oh, you're not going to give the guy who shot him a life sentence. That's crazy talk, right? Then we have a report on it, and you're going to see the beginning of the report. I'm still with the guy, and I'm like, yeah. And then you're going to see the second part of the report, and I changed my mind. I hope you do too. Let's watch.
This dramatic surveillance video captures an attempted robbery turned deadly. Watch as two men run into a local pharmacy, one pointing a gun directly at Jerome Ursland. The pharmacist and other bystanders retreat into the back room. Ursland returns and fires, hitting 16-year-old Antoine Parker in the head. After chasing Parker's accomplice out of the store, Ursland comes back and shoots Parker 5 more times. Lawyers for Ursland said that he saw Parker moving, thought he was still alive, and argued he had a right to defend himself. The jury had to decide if Ursland acted in self-defense or if he was guilty of murder in the first degree.
Defendant is guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree. Punishment is set at imprisonment for life.
Outside the courtroom, elation and relief from Antoine Parker's family. Ursland's family could not hide their grief. However, in his hometown of Oklahoma City, Ursland has seen an outpouring of support from people who want his sentence commuted.
I'm going to spend the rest of my career, however long it may be, to try to right this wrong.
The debate over the case has taken to Facebook. One group supporting Ursland has around 2,000 followers, while other groups say his punishment is deserved. Two sides torn over whether Jerome Ursland is a hero or an executioner. For Good Morning America, Clayton Sandell, ABC News.
All right, so, I see that he shot him. The guy had a gun pointing it at him, no problem, right? He shot him in the head. I'm like, hey, man, you ain't got time to aim. If he got shot in the head, he got shot in the head. Sad day for him. He shouldn't have come into the store with a gun pointing it at the guy, right? And all those other employees that he has.
There were 2 other female employees that were behind the counter, and the 16-year-old was pointing the gun at all of them. Okay, so they were all scared. The girls ran in the back, and Jerome did what he did. He grabbed his gun and he shot him.
Right. Of course, the part where he loses me, he comes back into the store, and he grabs a second gun.
Yes.
And shoots him 5 times, 46 seconds later. Okay. Guilty.
Yeah, look, it took a long time for me to agree with that. At first, I was like, no, you're not in the situation. You don't know what's happening, right? You don't see the 16-year-old in the surveillance after he gets shot the first time in the head. What if he was moving? What if he did serve a threat? I needed more evidence. So I went and I saw just raw footage of the surveillance. And you would think that if you felt like the 16-year-old was still a threat, you would move with a sense of urgency. You would think, damn, I need to grab my gun. Maybe he ran out of bullets in his first gun. I need to grab another gun. I need to make sure that, he's not a threat anymore. Except watch the surveillance. He just does not seem to have a sense of urgency. Here's the raw footage for you guys.
All right, now, again, this is after, you'll see the shooting, and then he'll come back into the store after the first set of shots.
So there he is chasing the accomplice out of the pharmacy.
Right there. And that kid ran away, so he comes back in. Okay, he's not running. Seems fairly calm.
He's looking for a shiny gun to maybe test it out. I mean, he just doesn't seem like he's really worried, like he feels threatened. If you're threatened, you don't move that slowly. And then you don't shoot someone 5 more times.
Yeah, and you're standing over him. If he was a threat, why did you stand over him? That doesn't seem like a thing you would do if you thought the guy was going to grab a gun and shoot you, right? No, he came back and executed him, man. There's no way around it. And I say definitely guilty, right? And look, you feel bad for him in the first place. He's protecting the people at his store. He had a gun pointed to him, et cetera, et cetera. But we cannot let people be their own be the executioner, judge and executioner in that situation. You just can't. Otherwise, every time there's a robbery, the guy comes into your house. Maybe he has a gun. Maybe he doesn't have a gun. You disable him, and instead of calling the cops, you put 5 bullets in his head. No, you can't do that.
Yeah, and another thing is, you know, he has not been formally sentenced, okay? And the jury has recommended a life sentence for him. And I think that that's where I disagree with the jury, okay? And I don't know what the real sentence should be. You know, maybe it's 20 years, maybe it's 25 years, but I think a life sentence for what happened, I don't think that makes sense. Because I don't see him as, I honestly don't see him as a threat to society. You want to put dangerous people in prison that go out looking to kill people, okay? He was at work. These 2 people walked in. Both of them were armed, okay? He shot the robber, and then afterwards he did something that was wrong, but I don't know if that warrants a life sentence.
Well, I mean, look, he executed the kid, right? So on the other hand, if that doesn't warrant a life sentence, what does?
Jack Threads is a new sponsor for TYT. They're a members-only online shopping club.
But because you know us, you're going to get in. Aren't we cool?
But here's a key part to it, 80% off.
Hello, up to 80% off of some of the top apparel lines in the country. Game over.
Right.
So go to jackthreads.com/TYT because it's free to join, and you get all those discounts, and you avoid the pain in the ass. The ending of this commercial is a little schwang wang wang.